go. So it is Friday now, and this week I have been so glad I had the week off work because I have not done much at all. As you'll probably see from the B-roll, you've got a lot of cat footage, a lot of me in my pyjamas, and yeah, it's just been a week. I don't know what has been going on, but obviously I said last week that I had this rash. It's still there. It's not itching anymore. It's not as fiery as it was, but it's still there. So I'm a little bit self-conscious of it. Like, I try not to be. But yeah, I've spent most of the week just chilling. And then yesterday I did have some spoons and deep clean the bathroom, which was a job. I don't know about you, but one of my least favourite jobs to do is the shower drain thing. Ugh, gives me shudders just thinking about it now. But I have got a bit of an exciting weekend planned, so I'm glad that I'm feeling a little bit better. It is Tom's birthday tomorrow, so we have a whole weekend planned. My parents are coming to stay with Nana. So today we're going into Leicester and we'll be going to Hotel Brooklyn, which is possibly one of the favourite hotels that I've stayed in. I think there's one in Manchester as well. A bit of context for those that haven't been here for that long. When Nana had a fall, which is, where are we now? It was July 2022. It was on my birthday, so I should remember that. And she was in Leicester Royal Infirmary, and I'd stayed there all night with her, but I didn't want to leave. So me and Tom ended up booking into the Hotel Brooklyn for a couple of nights because it is literally opposite the Royal Infirmary, and we fell in love with it. Obviously, we didn't stay there in great circumstances, but we'd always said that we'd like to go back there again in better circumstances. One of the things that we fell in love with, I mean, the rooms are beautiful. I will show you later when we're there. I'll do a bit of a room tour. But at breakfast, they have a waffle machine that you can make fresh waffles for yourself. And you know me, I'm a girl that loves at breakfast. As I'm talking, my face is itching. I don't know whether I've developed an allergy to something, because this came out last Thursday, so it's been over a week now, and the only thing that I can so basically on Wednesday this week I did butter chicken in the slow cooker, which I've done before, but as I was eating it, all the spots started heating up and itching again, and the only thing that I can pin it on is whether I've got some kind of allergic reaction to a spice all of a sudden, because the night before I came out with this the first time, we went to Wagamama's and I had their raspberry curry, but I could just be clutching at straws. So anyway, back to Hotel Brooklyn. We are there. I mean, we booked it anyway just for the night, and then tomorrow we're going up to Nottingham, but it just so happens that the Fawlty Towers dining experience is on tonight at Hotel Brooklyn. It was extended, so when I booked the room, it wasn't on there. And then I found out on the Coolers Leicester Instagram, I think. If you're local, you definitely need to check out Coolers Leicester, because Coolers Leicester is the insight for anything that's going on in Leicester. And so I booked us tickets for that because Tom's wanted to see that for years. I have spent a bit more on his birthday this year than I would normally spend, but it's more to do with the fact that we don't get to go out. We used to go on weekends away every couple of months, and obviously with Nana we don't get to do that. And then tomorrow Saturday, we are hopping on the train up to Nottingham because I have tickets for him to see Jonathan Pye tomorrow night. And we're staying at the Park Plaza in Nottingham. So in between all of that, I need to get in some rest time, because I always do this when my energy starts coming back. I try and run before I can walk, but I'm quite excited for the weekend. I'll try and take you along, show you some bits and pieces if I can. It's really funny. And like I said last week, I had planned to call these Diary of a Boring Bookworm, and actually both weeks so far there's been things happening, but I'm sure it will quieten down after this week. I've got some books that I finished, I've got a DNF, and I've got some book mail. So let's start with the book mail. I pre-ordered One of Us Is Back by Karen M McManus. I love Karen M McManus's books. They're nothing groundbreaking, but they just work for me. Obviously got the sprayed edges edition. This was out in hardback for a while, but I've been waiting for the paperback, and this is the third book in the, is it the Bayview High trilogy? I think, yeah. Life hasn't been easy for the Bayview crew. So the first book in this series, if you haven't read it, is a bit of a retelling of The Breakfast Club. There are 5 people in detention and one of them dies, and it goes from there. I do really like these kind of YA mysteries. I do have on my bookshelf still to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that one. So then let's go from like bottom to top. So IDNF lessons in chemistry. I could not get into this one, and I felt really bad because Victoria loved this, and a lot of people whose opinions that I respect have given this like 5-star, and I got like 140 pages in and I was just bored. I didn't want to pick it up. I'd got to the point where I was having to force myself to pick it up. Obviously this was going to be the Books and Bargains book club pick, so if you have read this, let me know what you think before. But my should have been co-host Amelia also said that she didn't get the hype, so I'm glad it's not just me. That is going to be going off to either a friend or a charity shop, someone that will absolutely love it. But it just wasn't for me. I don't know, I just didn't get the writing style. I didn't get why it was so loved. I will say as well, massive content warnings if you pick this up, that it looks like a kind of fluffy rom-com type book. It is not. There is a serious assault, sexual assault in the first few pages, I think. But yeah, I just didn't find it interesting. I was bored, and so I decided to DNF it. And that's been a harder one to DNF because there's been so many books in the past few years that everyone seems to love, and I don't want people to think that I'm just being controversial for the sake of it, but it's just like, I don't get it. I do not get it. I've said before, on a kind of Venn diagram of me and Victoria, there's this bit in the middle where there's books that we both love, but generally there's been quite a few that Victoria has absolutely raved about that I don't get the hype on. Let me just have a sip of tea. So then a book that I started last week and finished this week was Rob Rinder's The Trial. I saw something on Instagram, I think it was Callie from Kapowski Reads that shared it. Yeah, I'm sure it was, that basically said something like, I'll read books that I've known about for 5 minutes and ignore my TBR or something. And that's exactly what this was. I picked this up at Asda in Dudley, started reading it in the hotel last week and finished it pretty quickly. I flew through this one. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a 4-star rather than a 5 because there are a few little niggles with me. And also, at the very beginning of this book, there was a lot of terminology about barristers and courtrooms and things I could have done with a glossary, but that's just me. So you'll probably know Rob Rinder as Judge Rinder, and his kind of humour shows through this book. The barrister is Jewish, and he talks about his Jewish mom trying to set him up. And this is like a proper courtroom drama. Most of this happens in the courtroom. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be picking up the next Adam Green book. I don't know. I don't think this one's going to stay in my collection, but I am going to put it on. I've got a shelf for Tom to read, and I think Tom would enjoy this, so I'm going to put that on Tom's shelf. But I don't think I need to collect these books, but then at the same time, I'm not sure I want to let it go. So that's the hoarder in me. So yeah, that was a 4-star read. Really enjoyed it. And then the last book that I've finished so far is The Northern Lights Lodge by Julie Caplin, and this is a 5-star, new favourite. Absolutely love Julie Caplin's books. This is the 4th, I believe, in the, I don't know what are they called, the Romantic Escapes, I think they're called. And So I gave the first book, which was The Little Cafe in Copenhagen, a 5-star. Didn't enjoy the second book too much, which was The Little Bakery in Brooklyn. I think because I didn't enjoy the setting of Brooklyn, and then the third book, The Little Paris Patisserie, I fell in love with, and then this, total 5-star. I've also read a later book in the series because I got an arc of it, The French Villa Dream. But anyway, I like with these books that you have little kind of Easter eggs of characters from previous books, so they don't have to be read in order, but I am obviously reading them in order. And in this one, we follow, I can't even remember her name, Lucy. I should know that, that's my middle name. We follow Lucy as she is desperate for a job, takes on this job at a lodge in the middle of nowhere in Iceland, and things just go from there. This is definitely a romantic comedy. I feel like I've learned in the past few months that I either like a steamy romance, a romantic comedy, or one with great community, and this has all three. It isn't fade to black, it does get spicy, but it's quite slow burn, and it's not like in your face straight from the beginning, so just be aware of that if you're not into spicy books. But I quite enjoyed this, and this has everything. The community around Lucy at the hotel, the food descriptions, the descriptions of Iceland, it's all perfect. I now want to go and visit the Northern Lights Lodge, so that will be going on my bucket list. And then next month I'm going to carry on with the series. I think the next one is The Secret Something in Croatia. It's definitely Croatia, the next one, but I can't remember the title of it. But yeah, so that is all for now. I am going to go and sit and finish. I cannot put down Perfect Death by Helen Fields. There are so many other books that I'm like halfway through that I should be prioritising, but no, I am going to binge read this till the end. I've got the ebook of this on my Kindle because I'm trying to pack light for Nottingham. But yeah, I will stop rambling now and try and take you along with our weekend. To excuse that I'm a little bit tipsy and this lighting is not the one. However, we've just got back to our room after seeing the Fawlty Towers experience, and I don't even know how to describe it. It was brilliant. Even I think if you're a fan of the show, it's even better. But even if you're not a fan of Fawlty Towers, if you like kind of silly comedy, I'm looking at Tom over there. Slapstick, that's the word I'm looking for. If you like kind of silly slapstick comedy, I think you'd actually love it. The food was good, and it was just an absolute laugh from start to finish. I don't want to sit here and tell you like the gags, because I think it's worth going in completely blind to it. But what I will tell you is that Sybil goes round and asks if it's any kind of birthdays or anniversaries, and with it being Tom's birthday, she got chatting to him, and she takes what you tell her and twists it a little bit. So Tom had said that he was an app developer, and she turned that round to, she said, you know, he's in IT, but you can tell that from looking at him. And then she turned it into, you know, he sits and fiddles on computers in his bedroom. I'm trying to think what other she came up with. There was a few other things that other people had said, but yeah, we were seated on a table with, how many other people? 7, 6? I think there were tables of 8, weren't they?
Yeah, 2 and then 5 next to you, so I think
9. So yeah, so there was 9 on our table, and you know that I'm antisocial, so I wasn't sure about that, but actually they were really nice. Turns out that the 5 of them live in our village. And yeah, it was just fantastic. There's no video recording in the show, and I think even if I'd have been allowed to record, I wouldn't have wanted to. But yeah, it was a really good night. Now my socializing battery is in negatives now, so I am going to get undressed, get into bed, and I'll see you tomorrow. In the past couple of days. I don't know how I used to kid myself that I was an extrovert, because I am just knackered. I've been back home for a couple of hours now, and I'm just trying to keep myself awake till a reasonable time that I can go to bed and not end up waking up at stupid o'clock in the morning, which is what happens if I go to bed too early. So from the clips that you'll have seen, we were in Leicester and then Nottingham the past couple of days. If anybody has just kind of found my channel and these are the first two vlogs that you are watching, I do apologise for the false advertising, because my life is generally not this full of events and things as it has been this week. This week has been a complete anomaly. Friday, so it was Tom's birthday this weekend, so Friday we were staying at the Hotel Brooklyn in Leicester, and I have to say I'm very disappointed that we were staying there specifically for the fact that they had these waffle machines at breakfast. They don't have them anymore, so it was still good, still beautiful room. To say it's city centre and it is right on the busiest road I know, right opposite Leicester Royal Infirmary. It was really quiet, really peaceful. I had a great night's sleep in the bed there. The only thing is they don't have baths in. I think you have to upgrade to like the mega spendy suites to get a bath, and I don't like to pay a lot of money for hotel rooms. It goes with the name, Books and Bargains. I don't like to pay too much for them. I don't think that a lot of hotels are worth it when I know that at a Premier Inn I can get a bath and a comfy bed for cheaper. But I do like Hotel Brooklyn. We went to the Fawlty Towers experience there that night, and that was fantastic. Like, I've never laughed so much in my entire life, I don't think. And then we got up, had breakfast, hopped on the Hop. So Leicester has this book called The Hop, which is free. And so we hopped on that we went into Leicester and then up to the train station and went to Nottingham, where we checked into the Park Plaza, which again we've stayed at before. Really loved the hotel. However, this time we had a bit of a to-do with a member of staff at night, because it's a 10-storey hotel, 11-storey hotel. We were on the 9th storey, and at like 10 o'clock I was like getting ready for bed for the night, and all we could hear was this thumping like bass of music. Well, turns out we were on the 9th floor. On the 11th floor is their conference rooms, and there was some kind of function going on up there, and so we went to reception and we're like, yeah, what is that noise? And he was like, oh yeah, it'll stop by 12:30. And I was like, yeah, but I want to go to sleep now. And he was like, well, there's nothing you can do about it because you booked through booking.com. And he was really rude about it. And I was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter what I've paid for a hotel. This was not a cheap night in a hotel, the Park Plaza. I think I paid like £130 something for this room, which is a lot more than I wanted to pay. But I wanted to make it special for Tom's birthday, and this was a hotel that I know that I liked. Anyway, long story short, he was like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have booked through booking.com because we can't do anything about it. Rang booking.com. They said they'd got no rooms that they could move us to. Rang booking.com, and between them and the wonderful manager Freya that was on this morning, who was fantastic, we're getting a full refund. So I don't want to dwell on that too much. And then today we went to the Cat Cafe and popped in a couple of charity shops. I have bought a couple of pieces of clothing that you will have seen on my Instagram. I just don't have the energy to model them for you here, or to even go and get them, because like a good girl, I've hung them up. So one thing that I do want to share with you, I finished Perfect Death. I've read this in about 3 days. Absolutely loved book 1, which was Perfect Remains, I think. Book 2, Perfect Prey, I was a little bit on the fence about, but this one I have given 5 star. I have decided that I really like series, police procedural series. So if there's any of those that you have loved, I have been texting Victoria. Victoria very kindly bought me this set of books after she made me read the first one. I can tell already that I'm attached to quite a few characters in this book. Content warning, there is some quite gruesome bits in here. Not as gruesome as, was it the last one or the first one that had? Yeah, the first one was really gruesome. The last one, not so much. And then this one is kind of in the middle of those two. But basically, if you don't know what these books are, we are following Detective Inspector Kalanek and DCI. What does DCI mean? Detective? I don't know, but she's his boss. Chief Inspector, maybe? Ava. And they're a bit rogue. We like a rogue police person. I can't get my words out. That's how tired I am. And there's just all these relationships and things that are developing book by book. This is number 3 and it is an 8-book series. And I really want to right now just trash the rest of my TBR and go on to book 4. But I have told myself 1 book a month, and then when I read One for Sorrow, that week's one of the weekly vlogs will be literally dedicated to just reading that, because Victoria gave it a 5-star last year. So yeah, I gave this a 5-star, really enjoyed it. I did expect to get more reading done this week, but I've just been so tired. We planned too much. I didn't even think we planned that much this weekend. But why am I still holding the book? But yeah, I'm absolutely exhausted. So yeah, like I was thinking today, and this is going to be a little bit of a ramble, but I was thinking about like authenticity online, and it's like, how do people find the balance between, like, I filmed a clip earlier that you will have seen where I was literally like sat in a toilet having a bit of a I need to breathe through this moment, but that has happened more than once over this trip. But hey, I just didn't feel like getting my camera out. Like, I want to show you the kind of behind the scenes of my anxiety and chronic illness, but then at the same time, like, do I need to actually physically get the camera out and film that in order to like convince people? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm trying to convince people. Yeah, so we will figure that out, but I can, touch wood, promise that the next week is going to be a way less eventful. I have got 4 shifts at work this week, 4 shifts at work the week after, and then I've got a week off when Victoria is coming. So yeah, I'm gonna go sleep. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you all so much for the love on my last vlog. I'm glad that you just like these little rambles from me, and until next time, look after yourselves. Bye.